Lomachenko, Kambosos, post-fight thoughts. Let's go.
Push the weight and I'm flex. Alive is 1 in the 6. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Yeah, so I watched it. First of all, just add a bit of information. You know, y'all know I live in New York. There was absolutely no buzz about this fight. There was no advertising in reference to this fight. I'm going to assume that there was in Australia and other countries probably, but just not in New York. And no one was talking about this. And I'm being honest, I knew this fight was signed months ago and I just forgot. And my people had to remind me. I said, oh, okay. It's tonight. Okay, great. So I watched it. That ring announcer, what was his name? I forget his name, but what was it, Lieutenant Dan or something? I could do a whole show on him alone. I mean, gosh, he was a fabulous F up, but that's a whole nother conversation. But let's talk about this fight real quick. All right, look, you already know how I feel about, you know, both of these guys personally. Well, I don't know them personally, but how they were moved and marketed and things that was privilege and things that Kambosos was doing. But all right, we're past that for now. Let's talk about the fight. Kambosos, he had a good strategy. The one thing that you have to do with Lomachenko is, first of all, you cannot allow him to get into a rhythm. You have to keep him guessing. And one of the things that you have to keep him guessing is you have to make him uncomfortable. You have to put him on the back foot. That's a major key of beating this guy. Put him on the back foot. The problem with George Kambosos is that he is a counterpuncher. That's not going to work with Loma. Loma's footwork is way too good. His defense is okay. If he has you second guessing and you going on the back foot, he's going to take you apart. And that's just what happened. But in the first round, George, it seemed like he had a good idea. The first few shots he threw was at the body. And if you look, his ribs was turning red. And I'm like, you know what? That's a damn good idea. If you look at this picture, George was the bigger guy. So I always like to say, when you're the bigger guy, you already have some natural tools, but can you use those tools against your opponent? That's always the issue. And Lomachenko has a very high boxing IQ, and he was able to pick up what George was doing. George had no second gear, and once Loma figured him out, he danced on him. He was landing punches. George, his defense is subpar at best. And I'm going to say that his 2-3 seconds of fame is up. He caught Teofimo Lopez at the right time. He's very ballsy. He's very game. He's not scared. But in reference to Lomachenko, the skill set didn't match. He caught Teofimo at the perfect time. Teofimo was feeling himself. He was worried about getting the most bang for his buck. And he didn't take George seriously. I remember doing a video. I didn't know who George Kambosos was, but I rooted for him versus Teofimo Lopez. And if y'all follow me, y'all know why. And I said the biggest disrespect out here was they spelt his name wrong on a freaking poster out here, and I couldn't believe that. I said, wait a minute, that's not how you spell his name. And I remember doing a video. I said, look, I don't know how this guy's gonna do. I don't know if he can win, but I'm rooting for him. And he won it. He almost messed up, I think, in round 10 or 11, I forget. Because, Tio could punch, but he held on. And that's how we got to know George Kambosos. And, you know the rest of the story. I'm not going to get into it. Another thing I just want to throw out there, sidebar, speaking of George Kambosos and Vasily Lomachenko, shout out to Joe Tessitore with his buffoonery. He referred to George Kambosos as a former undisputed champion at 135 like 4 or 5 times during the broadcast. And it was weird because while he was ripping apart that guy Dan, the ring announcer who was getting everything wrong last night, while he's chewing him a new behind, I'm like, you called George Kambosos a former undisputed champion like 9 times. Hello, can any of you, including you, Joe Tessitore, can any of you at ESPN let me know where the franchise status went? Uh-oh. So let's not do this. But back to the fight. George had good intentions. I knew what he was trying to do, but this is a classic case of the game plan looked good, but George lacked the talent to execute what needed to be done. You need to back up Lomachenko, and there's only a handful of fighters that can do it. Teofimo Lopez did it in spots. You know what I mean? Devin Haney definitely did it, whether you like it or not. He did. And he ended up breaking his ribs in the process. You understand? So Loma's beatable, but here's the thing. I don't want to make this video too long, but they fought for a belt tonight, the IBF, and now Lomachenko's a champion at 135. So here we are, y'all. He's going to get the winner of Frank Martin and Tank Davis. Okay? He's going to get that fight. I'm telling you right now. Do you guys remember when I said, you know what? There's a play at 135. Devin Haney relinquished his belts, went to 140. That was done. Remember when I said the play is to get Lomachenko undisputed before he leaves this sport? Because he's long in the tooth now. He's in his 30s. And if they can accelerate that process, they are going to do it. Remember when I said that? Right? Okay. Let Tank Davis keep running around here talking about belts don't matter. Remember he said he didn't want the WBA belt? Remember that? I'm telling you, you might be looking at the next undisputed champion at 135 in Vasily Lomachenko. He has a belt now. He has a belt. Okay? He has a belt. Let's not even talk about how this became a title a title bout. Let's not talk about that yet. But now he has it. Remember, I told you this play months ago. This is what they are fixing to do. They're going to do it. 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 Okay? Now I'm rolling with Frank Martin. Okay? But I guarantee you, if Frank wins, his next opponent is Vasily. If Tank wins, his next opponent is going to be Vasily. But Tank, here's the thing. Watch Tank not be able to hide behind belts don't matter and I don't want to do this or whatever. What's he going to do? Run to 140? Where he said he wasn't going to go? Then they're going to look at Shakur. Shakur called for that Loma smoke. I'm telling you what they're finna do with this guy. You don't have to believe me. Just watch what I tell you. But back to the fight. George Kambosos had a game plan, but he lacked the talent to execute. Okay, he gasses out late. His punches get slower. He's very game, but you can tap him up. You can definitely tap him up. All right, now he had a good idea going to Loma's body, but Loma adjusted, started going to his body. And guess what? Dropped him with a body shot. What do you know? Good job by George Kambosos Sr. throwing in the towel, round 11, because he started busting him up, man, and it was going to get worse. Now, I want you guys to understand something. Although I don't like the machine that pushes Lomachenko, you never heard me say that he's a trash fighter. The man could fight. I just don't like the privilege, and I don't like how they push him ahead, ahead of fighters that actually earn their keep. This man lost his second pro fight, and he always found himself in a position where he could win a title. And if you listen to the broadcast on ESPN, I mean, these guys did everything but, put on some, knee braces and get on their knees and, like how when the mother bird flies in to feed the babies in the nest, do that right in the locker room for Vasily. It was pretty creepy. But I never gave a prediction for this fight, but Loma was the favorite. He was a heavy favorite. What's next for George Kambosos? I don't know. This is his third loss in a row in Australia. Third loss. So sidebar, Australia, y'all hold y'all head over there in Australia, because Tim Tszyu, his corner failed him. George, this is your third loss in a row. I don't even know what you do next. I mean, it's your third loss in Australia. You beat Maxie Hughes. That was tough, but this is your third loss in Australia. Devin twice, and now Lomachenko. But, said this before and I'll say it again. These two men, right? George, Loma, Teofimo, Devin Haney, they all have better records than Tank Davis. So when people come in my comments section and they say things like, you need to respect Tank because he's part of the Big Four, I asked them, who's the Big Four? Who's the Big Four at 135? Who are they? Tank, I can't gauge him. He's celebrated. But everybody else is fighting each other. I can't gauge him, and I can't gauge Shakur. Those guys should have been fought months ago. But hey, who am I? Or at least a month ago. But now you got Frank Martin. I'm telling you, Tank better win that fight. But here's what you need to watch. You need to watch Lomachenko. They're rolling out the red carpet for him again, and they're paving the way for him to become undisputed at 135. You watch what I tell you. You watch what I tell you. But good win by Lomachenko. He did his thing. He looked fresh. And you see the gap in talent. And I don't know what's next for George, but I pretty much know what's next for Loma. This is going to be an interesting 2024 going into 2025. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Bronx on deck.
Move!